Welcome to another episode of the MMA Lock-Cast. I'm your host, Manpreet, aka MMA Lock of the Night, and your boy on Twitter at MMA Lotn. This week we're going to be going over UFC San Antonio, which is headlined by Rafael dos Anjos and Leon Edwards. Big fight in the welterweight division. Big fight for Leon Edwards to finally crack into that top five. But I think he has a stiff test against RDA ahead of him. But the card's littered with other good fights. Before we get into that, though, we're going to be going over the casuals again with my man, Big Rob. What's going on?
Hey.
So first, let's get into the casuals. Then we got a little bit of banter that we need to address after. But what I'm going to be showing Big Rob is a little bit of controversy that happened over this past weekend. The two top fights ended in somewhat controversy. So I want to get your thoughts on it real quick.
Okay.
So I'll tell you what the controversy is real quick. First, actually, it's the people are complaining that they were quick stoppages. So we've had similar things that I've shown to you before where I'm like, do you think this was a quick stoppage? Do you think it was too late? What were your thoughts on it? So here's another installment of, is this a quick finish or not with a casual fan? So first I'm going to show him Uriah Faber versus Ricky Simone. This is going off at roughly around 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in the first round. We all know it was a quick fight, so I just skipped ahead 30 seconds. So we got Faber with his back to the cage.
Okay.
And he lands that shot, gets the guy off his equilibrium. Like, that guy's clearly rocked, right?
Yeah.
So, what do you think?
He was still moving.
He was still moving,
He was getting
right?
his ass kicked.
He was still moving. He was rocked, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he was a little dazed.
He was. I mean, he couldn't even stand up.
We'll wait for the replay. Let me see if I get... Because obviously seeing other angles would probably be the best way to get a better... Okay, so... Let's go replay.
Okay.
So this is actually the camera that they showed during the
boom.
actual fight.
Right there.
So
he
lost it.
Yeah, he
lost it.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And then he follows up.
He's downing it.
He missed that one shot that he went down with. He missed that one as well. So this is like the only shot he hits him with. So that hit the shoulder.
Hit the shoulder.
Missed. Hit him.
Hit him.
Hit him.
Hit him. Okay, yeah, he's done. He's done.
Yeah.
I mean, if he couldn't even stand up a second ago, and then he's hitting him 6 more times after that.
So I would agree with you. I absolutely believe that was a just stoppage. That was perfectly timed. Watch this guy's hands during this thing. This guy lost it. Look at his hands. Watch his. They don't show the whole thing. I'll see if I can pull it out after. But everybody was making fun of his hands were just like, oh my god, what's happening right now? He's trying to just do everything he can to focus on his vocals. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a big win for this guy because this guy came out of retirement in his home city, and scored a huge upset. Like, he was a heavy underdog on this card. Came in and just fucking starts the guy in 40-something seconds.
That's awesome.
So that's the first one. There's one more that I want to show you. And this one is actually going to be the main event, which was Jermaine Durandamy versus Aspen Ladd. This was a relatively quick fight as well, so let's just skip ahead.
Okay.
Let's go. So close. Introductions. Don't want to overblow it because there's a really quick fight. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
So fight is about to start. It's a very intriguing fight in terms of just physically how the women look. One's like a shorter, stubbier. One's just long and can fucking punch like a brick shithouse.
Whoa.
Do you think that was a just stoppage? So she lands the let's go to the replay, but she lands a beautiful shot. She lands a picture perfect shot. Boom!
Right there. She's down.
Girl goes down.
She's down.
Right?
But I mean, maybe in 3 seconds she could recover.
Look, she's kind of still there. Immediately passes the what the fuck test.
Yeah. So right there.
Yeah.
But
the way she fell makes it look really, questionable, right?
Yeah.
But she did kind of catch herself on. She didn't fall face first, right? And then she turned around and immediately looked at the ref like, what?
This one's tough.
It was the fall. The fall made it look bad, and somehow she's on the phone right away. But the way she fell was probably the most like. So I had money on the girl that won. Okay. I was happy, but from like even from a bias perspective, I would say that's a really quick stoppage. I thought it was quick.
It was one of the quickest ones I've seen.
Yeah. And it shouldn't have been, essentially, right? Like, you could have given that girl another couple punches. Like, I'm all for saving brain health and fucking, CT and all that shit, but still, like, you want to get, like, this is her first ever main event. If she won this fight, she probably would be fighting for the title next. But now this girl's fighting for the title. Also, half your paycheck, like I always fucking say, right? From a casual's perspective, you're thinking, like, this woman just lost half her paycheck just because of a referee thinking that was too quick of a stoppage. Mm. So,
from my perspective, I would say the beginning looked like she was done.
Yeah.
But then, like, moments after, it seemed like she started to...
Even the follow-up shot didn't even hit her clean. It hit, like, in the chest area.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was surprised that people thought the one before this was a quick stoppage because I'm like, I was cool with that. No. Like, I'm okay with that. But this one, even though I had money on it, I was like, okay, that was relatively quick. Like, I would give them another couple.
It 10, was very seconds. Fast.
Yeah, she hit her with a good shot.
One I've ever seen.
Yeah, besides that fucking knee one I showed you last week. That was 5 seconds, right?
That was insane.
That's still blowing up.
Yeah, they need to find the real time on that, which was like 2 seconds.
Yeah. No, somebody actually timed it. Like, it was the ref being out of position.
Yeah.
But like even before that, like how they have their names show up, like after right when the fight starts, even before their names showed up, the guy was out. Right.
That was great.
Let me see if I can show you this. The fucking gif of that guy losing it with his hands.
Okay.
It was probably one of the funniest things I've seen. Where is it? July 4. Yep. This guy tweets a lot. This is my man, MMA Trader. God damn. Where is it? Brendan Fitzgerald. Yep. This guy.
Okay.
He should have it up. Yeah. Like, watch his hands.
Okay.
I guess we can play the audio. This is from the second fight.
Okay.
No, sorry, the first fight that I showed you. Like, let's just focus on his hands. Like,
he's
he even gets
excited.
up on his, like...
Not even the guy on the left's doing it. He's getting involved too.
Yeah. Fucking hilarious. I watched this thing like 10 straight times. It kills me how much his hands lose it. Like right away.
Oh my gosh.
Fucking crazy, dude. It was a big moment, so I completely understand. And you have a job to give people commentary on what the fuck is happening. So you have to focus while you're trying to control your inner MMA fan. And we all know he's a big fan too, right?
Just losing his mind.
Just losing his mind. The banter that I wanted to get to. We're going to be fucking camping this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
I told Rob that I haven't gone camping since like 2017. Me and my girl moved in together last year, so we kind of use that as like our camping. And then this year, we haven't done it. We just been so fucking busy. And then Rob always tells me about this RV that he has parked up close to Toronto here. And he books off like certain weekends. This whole fucking summer, he just books off like 3 days or a fucking whole week. He's going tomorrow, which is why we're doing this on a Monday. We had to do it on Monday. And then he's coming back on Sunday. So all fucking week he's gone. Off the grid, fucking solar paneling this bitch up. And he invited me and my girl to come out. So we're going to definitely go out this weekend. I told my girl, she's fucking excited because we haven't gone in so long. But yeah, man, he has a fucking legit setup. He always shows me videos and stuff and pictures. And I fucking love what he's doing out there. And I can't wait to go be a part of it.
Yeah, man. Dude, I'm super excited.
How many times have you gone out this year?
Oof. At least like 6 times.
6 times. And it's fucking July. It's middle of July. Literally July 15th. Yeah. It is the middle of July. There's still the whole summer to go. How many more weekends do you have planned?
Oh, Tons. At least like another 6 more.
Fucking sick.
Yeah, I'll just keep going, man.
And then this week you're going for 5 days or 6 days or something.
Yeah,
like that.
But the longest I've ever gone, I think, was like maybe 17 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like not going to a store, not plugging into electricity or running water.
Yeah.
Like
you just have your off the grid RV,
like just roughing it.
Do you ever set up a tent, or you're just
no. I have comfort. Like I got a fridge in there.
Yeah.
I got solar that's powering all this stuff. I got music and lights. So I'm not really roughing it, but it's kind of neat just trying to see if I can do
how
it.
long you can do it.
How long
17
can
days
I do
is
it?
ridiculous. I think the most I've done is 3 days.
Okay.
Like sorry, I should say 2 nights and 3 days, right? Okay. 17 days.
Yeah, man.
Like, are you going to like their showers and shit?
No,
like that? What the
I'll go in the water. I'll swim.
Fucking purring.
Dude, I'm serious. Yeah, I'm loving it.
God damn. No, I'm looking forward to it this weekend for sure. Like, it's something that I haven't been able to do in a long time, and fucking, I really appreciate you inviting me out. That's fucking dope, dude.
Thanks, man.
We're gonna get fucked up this weekend.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Friday.
Fun.
I'm gonna crash Friday. I think come back on Saturday. But fuck, man, I'm so fucking excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Can't wait to go and hang out at the water and the docks and all that stuff.
Well, what's on the menu this weekend? What the fuck are you cooking up?
Well, there's always kebabs are always good. I love these. But we'll see. I grabbed some stuff at Costco. Maybe I'll grab some stuff out. Walmart too. I'm pretty easy going.
I told him I'd bring up some meat too, so we got some barbecue to do when we get back on Friday. So I gotta see. You don't like spice, do you?
Dude, what are you talking about?
Okay, never mind.
I
feel like we've talked about this.
Better.
Okay, I'll bring up some tandoori chicken. And we'll cook that shit up. I know you like some tandoori chicken.
Yeah, man.
I gotta get some like fucking sweet stuff for my girl because she can't handle spices at all.
Okay.
Which is ridiculous, but it's all good.
We'll do some of that too.
All right. Thanks for the casuals once again, Big Rock. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're gonna fucking kill it this weekend. I can't wait to fucking get out there.
Yeah.
All right, let's fucking get into UFC Sacramento's betting recap. Let's hit that up first before we move on to UFC San Antonio, which is this weekend. So UFC Sacramento winning event. Thank motherfucking God. It was all thanks to Jermaine Durandamy at the end of the event. It pretty much all came down all to that. I had my lock of the night play, which was the fight doesn't go to decision in that fight, as well as a small 1-unit play at plus 150 on Jermaine Durandamy. Both of those hit. Plus 2.56 units on the fight doesn't go to decision, and then plus 1.5 units on the on Jermaine Durandamy straight. So it was a beauty that both of those hit. I'll move on to the next one that I hit as well. I kind of wish I went a little bit deeper on this one. I had 1 unit on Ryan Hall at plus 100. That profits for 1 unit. Relatively easy fight. I'm glad Ryan Hall was able to pull out some spinning shit, and Darren Elkins is the perfect opponent to kind of have as like a punching bag, if you want to put it to that. So Ryan Hall was able to comfortably pull off this spinning shit. Not really worry about too much coming backwards in terms of at least punching power and just being a more dangerous opponent than Darren Elkins, I should say. Darren Elkins' chin really helped him out here once again. His chin, some fights it's going to crack. Ryan Hall probably doesn't have the power, but he had the power to hurt him. So it was great to see Ryan Hall get that victory there. I know a lot of you don't really like him, but his style kind of intrigues me, and I would fucking love to see him against Kron Gracie since they're in the same division. So I know Kron Gracie has Cub Swanson coming up, and getting a fight with like Ryan Hall will probably be a step back, but hopefully down the future that's something that a fight that we get to see. And knowing us, it'll probably be a striking affair. So we'll see if Ryan Hall's spitting shit can pay off, or if Kron Gracie could get the W there. But regardless, we don't know if that fight's going to happen. It's just something that I'm intrigued by. Let's go to the losing bets. So I had a couple of dog of the night plays here. First going off with Carl Roberson versus Wellington Turman. I wanted that fight to go under a round and a half. I thought there was definitely some, it was very playable odds at plus 115. I put down 1.25 units for that bet. I thought Carl Roberson was either going to light him up on the feet and finish him early, or Wellington Turman was going to get him down and submit him. Carl Roberson hit Turman a couple times, but Turman's, resiliency paid off. His chin paid off as well, so he stayed there. But Turman got the takedown too and got plenty of submission opportunities, and Carl Roberson was able to get out of those too. So both guys showing toughness, submission defense, and a good chin, which is why the bet didn't pay off. And eventually I ended up going to a decision as well, which is really good for me because I was highly considering playing the fight doesn't go to decision, but I don't know what scared me off, and whatever it was, I'm glad I fucking stayed away from it. Next up, I had 1 unit on Cesar Ferreira at plus 146. I thought Cesar, if he was able to get in close enough for a takedown, that he was going to be able to land one. However, he wasn't able to land at least one. So, big props to Marvin Vettori for working on his takedown defense. Big props to him for, working on his hands and becoming a better fighter every fight. But I truly thought that Cesar Ferreira would have the advantage when this fight got to a grappling scenario. Unfortunately, his age is catching up to him, whatever you want to call it. I don't want to make too many excuses because I thought there's a lot of value and a lot of good, reasons to bet Cesar Ferreira here at plus 146. And then lastly, I had a parlay of 0.75 units on plus 157, the first of which was Juliana Pena. I had her at minus 181, and then I had Mirsad Bektik at minus 152. Sorry, got a little bit of gas. Juliana Pena, tough first round, comes back in those second two and completely outgrinds Nico Montano. I really thought that Juliana Pena's size and ability to, just be a comfortable 135er was going to come to fruition here, and it kind of did. It was a little bit of a scare in that first round, but I truly thought that she was going to be able to out-grapple Nico Montano, and that is what she did in rounds 2 and 3, securing the victory there. And then Mirsad Bektik, it seems like his chin is kind of shot. I don't want to say that he's completely done with. It would be interesting to see maybe if he went up to 155. He might be a little small there, but maybe a weight cut. I don't know how much of a weight cut it really is for Mirsad Bektik, but he seems like a pretty thick guy. So, it's 2 unfortunate losses at 145 now against Josh Emmett and Darren Elkins. Emmett just hits like a fucking truck, man, and good on anybody that hit Emmett at plus money. But that's why I had to go at, a 0.75 unit stab on this parlay. It was mainly Bektik, man. I was kind of, hesitant. I personally thought like the issue here would be the third round. I thought Bektik would be able to handle the first 2 rounds. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to. He wasn't even able to make it into the second round. So big up on Josh Emmett for getting a big victory as an underdog, especially in his hometown of Sacramento. But regardless, I'm happy because we ended the night plus 2.06 units, only a 21% ROI. But I'm happy with that, man. I'm just happy to get another W. That's 2 straight victories now. This weekend was a big weekend for me. PFL as well as Bellator. We can quickly go over that as well. I had 1.2 units on Rafael Carvalho at minus 117. I thought he was the more complete fighter here against Chidienzo Kowani. I wish I went a little bit deeper. I don't know why I wasn't considering going deeper, but I profited plus 1.03 units. Whoa, that was a little bit of spit that just came out. Getting a little salivated over here. Regardless, so I had plus 1.03 units on that Carvalho play, and then I had my lock of the night play. It was a PFL and Bellator mix. I had Glyco Franca and Ed Ruth, 5 units at minus 176. I thought that was a great price for 2 guys that I thought had pretty much that fight in the bag. The Franca fight, I knew it was going to be a little bit dicey in that first round, but after that, I knew it was going to be a little bit easier for Franca to get this fight to the ground, and it was. He got that late finish in that third round, and then Ed Ruth completely molly-whopping Koichi Kunimono. So it was a no-brainer for me to parlay Ed Ruth with somebody, and thankfully Greco Franco was fighting the night before, and it was more than an opportune moment for me to take advantage of that. 5 units for plus 2.83 units for my lock of the night play there. So that's 2 back-to-back lock of the night plays I hit thereafter, completely shitting the bed at UFC 239. I'm still in the hole a little bit, but we're coming back strong with UFC San Antonio, which goes down this weekend. Quick thoughts on that. Let's quickly hit up that. I just want to get a quick overview of the card as a whole. Headlined by Rafael dos Anjos versus Leon Edwards. It could almost be a number 1 contender shot for Leon Edwards, but I don't know how many people want to see Rafael dos Anjos go up against Colby Covington or Kamaru Usman. It's whatever to me, Colby Covington has Robbie Lawler coming up. I truly think that if he gets the victory there, that they'll probably line up that fight next for Kamaru. I wouldn't even be mad to see Jorge Masvidal fight Kamaru. Oh, fuck. I was doing my best to fight that fucking yawn. I know my man Big Marley's going to be watching this and blast me for that one, but whatever, fuck you. No iced coffee for me today. I couldn't make the fucking stop before I got out here. Regardless, back to the card, big welterweight fight to top off the card. Harris versus Oleinik. This fight was supposed to happen shortly before as well. We'll see if Walt Harris is able to keep this fight off the ground. Greg Hardy's return against another guy in Juan Adams. This should be a sloppy heavyweight slugfest. James Vick against Daniel Hooker. Great fight there. Arlovski versus Rothwell. It's a rematch. Very much looking forward to seeing how Rothwell comes back from that Blagoy even fight, even though I thought he won that fight. The return of Alexander Hernandez, somebody that a lot of people are high on, coming up against a very tough veteran in Francisco Trinaldo. Raquel Pennington's back. Sam Alvey against Klidson Abreu. Ray Borg's back, which is why I had to wear the Ray Borg shirt today. Yeah, decent card overall, man. I'm kind of excited for it. I got a couple fights I'm really looking forward to seeing on there, and I already have one bet placed for this. I'm still looking for my lock of the night spot. There is one spot that I'm very much intrigued by. The odds are a little skewed for my liking at the moment. I'll let you guys know what that is. Oh, look at that. It's gotten even worse. So maybe I have to look at a possible parlay situation here for a lock of the night play, or even even looking at props as they come out. Oh. I can't help these fucking yawns, y'all. All right. Let's fucking get down to business. Let's get into this first fight. First up, we're going to have Felipe Colares versus... Where the fuck is my man? Domingo Pilarte. This is a fight that I'm very much intrigued by. I'm very high on Domingo Pilarte after doing some of the tape on him. He had that fight against Vince Morales in last year's Dana White Contender Series, and that was a very tough fight for him, man. He had a very rough first round where Vince Morales dropped him. It looked like Pilarte was out of it. He somehow pulled out of it, managed to get into the second round, and then rock and finish Morales with the rear naked choke as well. So that was big for him. Very lanky guy for this weight class. I believe it's 135. 135, 6 foot, 74-inch reach, and very strong too. He has very good wrestling. I believe that's why he's such a heavy favorite over Colares here. I think that Colares is going to have some issues. Good jiu-jitsu guy, but had that loss to Geraldo de Freitas in his last fight, in a fight that was very back and forth. There was a lot of clinch and grappling exchanges that Freitas was able to just get the better of in most of these positions. It seems like all the positions that Colares was trying to get against de Freitas, he just wasn't able to hold him, man. Like he was falling off the back a lot, getting reversed, swept. It seems like he has decent jiu-jitsu, but the ability to hold position is really tough for him. With Domingo Pilarte, I think he's going to have a lot of trouble here. I think Pilarte is going to be obviously the stronger one, and I think once he gets top position, he's going to be able to hold it. I don't know if Colares is going to be good enough to, generate some sweeps or some reversals here, but I think Pilarte, once he gets that top position, it's going to be tough for Colares to reverse the position. Even on the feet, I think Pilarte is going to have a lot of fucking reach here. He only 0.5 reach, but he has a 3-inch height advantage, which is where I think that reach advantage definitely comes, especially with the leg reach. But I think it's going to be hard for Colares to get in and maybe get the takedown against Pilarte here. I think he's going to have to eat a lot of shots on the way in here, which is why I'm very much favoring Pilarte. I think he has the advantage in terms of strength, wrestling, as well as striking too. So I definitely see why the number on Pilarte continues to grow as the week goes. Goddamn. Where did I just fucking closed best fight odds. I definitely need best fight odds. But the last that I saw Pilarte at was roughly around minus 300, which he still currently is at. At Sportbet, he was up. He opened roughly around minus 225. He stayed there for roughly around 6 days, and then I guess people began their research after UFC Sacramento wrapped up, and now they're starting to hit him. I'm going to see if his line comes down a little bit. If his line comes back down to minus 250, minus 225, I might look at him as like a lock of the night play, man. I truly believe in that guy, and I think he has a lot of good tools to win this fight, and I just don't think that Colares is, UFC caliber at this point. Doesn't have any real names on his record. The level of competition that he's fought as well kind of suspect, and then he just showed his last loss against Trinaldo de Freitas, that he wasn't able to really hold positions for long periods of time, do enough damage, and I think that's where Pilarte is going to have the advantage here. So I'm going to take Pilarte probably even by second round finish. I'm going to say TKO ground and pound. Next up, we got Mario Bautista versus Jin Soo Son. If you guys remember Jin Soo Son, he fought Peter Yan back in Russia back in September of last year. Took a lot of damage in that fight. This guy has a serious chin. I remember people making jokes about Korean Zombie because Korean Zombie's in his corner, and Korean Zombie finally knows how it feels as a cornerman to watch your fighter out there just take ridiculous damage for, he could play a little bit safer, but he just wanted to take it on the chin, and Peter Yan just couldn't put him out. So with Son, we know what kind of fighter we're going to get. We're going to get a Korean Zombie-ish type of fighter who likes to slugfest, likes to close the distance, and just fucking swing bombs. With Mario Bautista, I think Bautista is going to play this a little bit safer. I think he's going to use his range a little bit. He does have a 69-inch reach compared to Jin Soo Son, whose reach for some reason isn't on this page, but he's 5'7", whereas Bautista is going to have a 2-inch height advantage. I think Bautista's... I think he's going to try to get this fight to the ground as soon as he can. I don't know if he's going to be able to have success on getting Son down. Let's see what the odds are currently saying. Not that I say that's going to completely dictate my decision here, but Bautista plus 170 is underdog. So I think he will definitely have some issues on the feet here against Jin Soo Son. His ability to get the fight to the ground, I don't completely trust. It's going to be a pass for me just because of, just the wacky and unorthodox style of a Jin Soo Son, and I'm not sure if Bautista is good enough to capitalize on it. And again, his advantage here is going to be to get this fight to the ground. I just don't trust him to be able to get the fight to the ground. I may revisit it. But just based off of what I've seen of these guys recently, not impressed with Bautista enough, and Jin Soo Son is just too much of a wild card for me to trust putting money on that fight. So I'll go with Jin Soo Son by decision, just outstriking Bautista, and then Bautista just having trouble closing the distance and getting the fight to the ground. So yeah, I'm going to take Son by decision. Next up, we got Ray Borg versus Gabriel Silva. Water break. Nothing better than cold water. All right, Gabriel Silva, making his UFC debut, 7-0 as a pro. He's fought over in Poland, and then he had his last fight in LFA. I was having trouble finding his LFA fight. He won that relatively quickly, so I'm not sure how much it would have told us, but maybe he just has powers in his hands. And the Kamil Lebkowski fight, that's probably the most recent fight that I have, but even that was over 2.5 years ago. So he came back in 2019, fought in March, and now he's making his UFC debut here against Ray Borg. I want to say that Ray Borg was not set up against anybody else, but tough for him, man. He's coming off a loss to Casey Kenny, who was making his UFC debut. A lot of people thought that Ray Borg won that fight. Unfortunately, for him to come out on that side, and now here he is against another UFC debutant in Gabriel Silva. Silva, I think he has decent hands. Obviously a jiu-jitsu guy in my opinion, but I think he's going to have trouble getting Ray Borg down. Casey Kenny got this fight to the ground relatively easy, but I don't know if Gabriel Silva has that ability to get a guy like Ray Borg down. Ray Borg is a great wrestler, and Casey Kenny is just a good wrestler too, but I don't see that wrestling from Gabriel Silva here. I think if he's able to get the fight to the ground at all, he just doesn't show the ability to keep the fight on the ground. And especially against a guy who's such a good scrambler like Ray Borg, I think Silva's going to have trouble. And I'm also going to give Ray Borg the advantage on the feet here too. I think that he will have the advantage on the feet for sure. I think he just moves better. He's going to be the faster fighter here. And I think that Silva's going to want to initiate the clinch and try to get this fight down ASAP. I don't think he's going to be able to. I like Ray Borg roughly around the minus 250 range that he's currently at, but I don't know if I feel good enough to pull the trigger here. maybe this might be a situation where I possibly parlay Pilarte and Borg, but I'm just going to have to wait and see how the lines shape out for the rest of this week. Again, it's just Monday. Like, there's no need to rush anything. I feel like there might be other spots that I could come across, but I truly like. I like Ray Borg here. I don't think especially the UFC debut thing going up against Gabriel Silva here against a tough vet, especially a title challenger like Ray Borg. I think it's going to be tough for him to come out and string a victory here and spring the upset. So I'm going to go with Ray Borg by decision. I think he finally gets his victory, finally gets that full paycheck to finally put towards his kid and all that stuff. And that's why I'm repping the Ray Borg shirt here. So I'm going with my man Ray Borg. Next up, we got Roxanne Modafferi versus Jennifer Maia. Roxanne Modafferi coming off a big victory over Antonina Shevchenko in her last time out. Came in as a huge underdog. Not a lot of people thought that she was going to be able to get the takedowns against Shevchenko, let alone even withstand, closing the distance against Shevchenko. And she did it with relative ease, man. She surprised a lot of people. Unfortunate first loss for Antonina in that fight, but Roxanne Modafferi showed why she's a 38 fight veteran. She knows how to get through these tough fights. She knows how to get the fight to the ground at any means necessary. And she even had more trouble against Ajara Eubanks, which is interesting. Shevchenko probably still not completely comfortable in MMA setting. She was only 7-0 going into that fight, 7-1 now. It's going to be interesting to see how she comes back and if she's able to work on a takedown defense, because Modafferi's not the strongest takedown artist either out here. Her stand-up is still relatively sloppy. I know she's been working with John Wood a lot to try and shore that up and, try to make it easier for her to close the distance without taking as much damage. But she's going to be taking a lot of damage here against Jennifer Maia. I think that, Maia doesn't really have much to offer off of her back. So if this fight does somehow hit the ground, I think Maia's going to be in a lot of trouble. But it's going to take a lot for Roxanne Modafferi to get this fight to the ground. I think that she will be successful in getting this fight to the ground. I think that they are going to find situations where they find themselves clinched up against the cage and Modafferi drags this fight to the ground. And again, like against that fight we saw with Alexis Davis for Jennifer Maia, once Alexis Davis was able to get this fight to the ground, Maia showed no real threat to get this fight back to the feet. So she dropped one of those rounds, but then she was able to outstrike and outwork Alexis Davis on the feet. I think that Modafferi is slightly tougher than Davis. I think that she does a better job in clinch exchanges as well in terms of getting fights to the ground. So I think that Modafferi might be slightly better than Davis in those spots. So I'm kind of leading Modafferi here as a dog. I want to see if her price gets better. The best price I see out now is plus 110, plus 113. I don't know if we'll get anything better than that, but I'm going to wait it out. Like I said earlier for the Ray Borg fight, I'm going to wait it out, see if the odds get better, but I really like Modafferi as an underdog here. I wouldn't take her as a favorite or at a pick'em, but I want to see if we can get to the plus 130-ish range for Roxanne Modafferi, and I might hit her at that point. So, most of you guys know, I really prefer grapplers over strikers, but I'm not always going to go that route. Only if I see possible ways that she can get this fight to the ground. I think that Antonina, being the taller girl, she's going to be a little bit harder to take down, but I think that Jennifer Maia might offer more in terms of takedown defense and technique-wise. But I still like Modafferi here, man. She might get hit quite a lot on the feet, but if she's able to get this fight to the ground, and I like her ability to get this fight to the ground, I think it's going to be really tough for Jennifer Maia to get Modafferi off her, and probably even we might even see Modafferi sink in some sort of submission. But as an official pick, I'll probably go with Roxanne Modafferi by submission. By decision, by just completely handling and outworking Jennifer Maia on the ground, staying active enough to keep this fight on the ground too, and we get a decision victory for Roxanne Modafferi. All right. Next up, we got Sam Alvey versus Klidson Abreu. Sam Alvey, my man, fucking... my man, Newsom MMA, Adam Newsom over there at Newsom MMA, likes to call himself the Sam Alvey Whisperer, if you want to call it that. Apparently he's like 7-0 or 6-0 in betting in Sam Alvey fights, and I'm interested to see how he kind of caps this Klidson Abreu fight. like I've broken it down plenty of times in the past with Sam Alvey. You know, he has a very rudimentary style. You know, throws big shots, doesn't really throw combinations. Very lackadaisical. Probably not the best in terms of pace and output. Um, Great chin. You know, even though he's lost his last two fights by KO, um, he's shown in the past. He's shown in the past that his chin can definitely take some damage and he can withstand it. But with this Abreu fight, I'm not sure if he really has much to worry about in terms of knockout power. I think his real concern here is going to be grappling. So he has good takedown defense, but he's fighting a pretty big guy in here, Klidson Abreu, who's able to get fights to the ground with somewhat, not too tough. So Klidson Abreu is going off at the -160 favorite right now with Sam Alvey at +140. I'm going to stay away from this fight as well, man. Like, it's just so tough with Sam Alvey, especially with all the heat that he has in his hands. He might be able to land on Abreu and probably put him out. With Abreu, you're talking about a guy who's coming off a decision loss to Magomed Ankalaev, but both of his losses have been, 2 out of his 3 losses have been by punches and finish by KO. So that's one thing that you have to worry about with Sam Alvey. Even though he doesn't put out much output, or he doesn't really, have the most entertaining and friendly style, at least as a better, you can't really knock the knockout power that he has in his hands. So I'm going to take as a pick, I'm going to take Abreu by decision, but I'm going to stay away from betting it just due to the issues that Sam Alvey possibly brings with his with the power that he presents. Next up, we got Raquel Pennington against Irene Aldana. Aldana is going off as the favorite right now. Let's see. She's going off the favorite at -150. Come back on Raquel Pennington at +130. Pennington's had a rough stretch in her last two fights. Very tough opponents as well. And Amanda Nunes, who completely mollywopped her for fucking 4.5 rounds, and even quit after that fourth round too. But somehow her coaches willed her back into it. And then in the Jermaine Durandamy fight, she got completely beat up. She wasn't able to get Durandamy down, and she just got completely murked on the feet. Good on her for her toughness, pulling out here, and her being able to stay in the fight. But she got beat up in that fight, and I think in this fight with Aldana, Aldana may have similar success on the feet here, but she just doesn't throw with as much ferocity and ferociousness as a Jermaine Durandamy or an Amanda Nunes. So Raquel Pennington's toughness may be able to withstand it here, but I think she might be able to get this fight to the ground and probably even grind out an Aldana. Maybe get this fight into clinch situations up against the cage, make it tough for her. I kind of like Pennington as a dog here. If you don't really completely write her off due to her last 2 losses, again, two former champions, a current double champ and a former champion. Say what you want about GDR, but she was a champion. And then Aldana, it's a huge step down in competition, in my opinion. Aldana does all the right things in terms of her striking. It was too close of a fight against Betch Correia for it to go to a decision. Thankfully, Aldana was able to pull off the submission in that fight. I don't even want to know what the fucking scorecards were going to look like there. But I think we need to remember the scrappy Raquel Pennington and the fighter that she's able, she's able to represent. Her fights against Miesha Tate, Elizabeth Phillips, and Betch Correia. We saw how good she could actually be, and she even has 2 wins over the current fucking strawweight champion in Jessica Andrade. Oh, sorry, the first fight was a loss, split decision loss, but then she came back and rear naked choked her the second time around. So I might. I can't believe I'm saying it, but I might take a shot on Raquel Pennington at dog odds here, especially if against a girl like Irene Aldana who makes fights closer than they should be. Pennington might be able to be the tougher fighter here and the more gritty fighter, and that might actually be the X factor in getting a victory in this fight. So I like Raquel Pennington. I want to see if she gets to the +150 range, if people continue to drink the Irene Aldana juice, and we'll see. But I'm going to take Pennington by decision here, and I think there's some value on her at the underdog price that she's currently at. Next up, we got Alex Caceres. Where the fuck did Caceres go? There we go. Alex Caceres versus Steven Peterson. It feels like it's been a while since we've seen Alex Caceres, but the last time we did see him was back in February against Kron Gracie, where he was quickly submitted 2 minutes into that fight by Surprise, surprise, Carl Gracie. He went to a decision against Martin Bravo before that back in, July of last year. So it's been a full year since he fought Martin Bravo. This is kind of a tough fight. I like the grittiness and forward pressure of a Steven Peterson. Fight IQ can be questioned at times, even though he's 25 fights into his UFC career. Very tough fight against Luis Pena last time out. Oh, God. Them gonna happen. I gotta get on that fucking iced coffee next time I get out here. All right, getting back to Steven Peterson. I think he's a tough, gritty fighter. Great coaching with Saif Sayoud from Fortis MMA, I believe it is. Showed a good fight against Matt Bessette. I thought he won that unanimously. I'm not sure why. It should have been a split. But he had a tough first round, came back in the second two and looked really good. I like his style. I like his forward pressure, gritty style. I think he would be able to break a guy like Alex Caceres. I'm not the biggest Alex Caceres fan, nor do I think he's that good. His record is 14-12 for a fucking reason. But I like the underdog value on fucking Steven Peterson here as well. What's he at? Plus 135. I like the dog odds there too, man. I'm liking a lot of dogs on this card. I'm going to go with Steven Peterson by decision. I think that he keeps this fight on the feet. I think where Caceres really has the advantage here is in the grappling and the jiu-jitsu. I just think that Steven Peterson is going to be too nasty for Alex Caceres here. Light him up on the feet. He's not going to get caught off guard too much by that wacky style that Caceres throws with sometimes. I think he's going to be able to close the distance, maybe eat a few shots, but I don't think that Caceres has the knockout power to really hurt or even scare Steven Peterson. So I think that Peterson's going to walk through some of these shots and just land his better shots and just look like the guy that's pushing the pace, making it look better for the judges. So I think that's where Peterson definitely has the advantage too, because he just likes having that forward pressure, forward style, and I don't think that Caceres really has much to offer in return. So I like Peterson here. I think he's going to win by decision, but I think he could even break Caceres a little bit later in this fight. So I'm going to take Peterson by decision and definitely like him at dog odds. Again, going to see where those odds go as well. Plus 150 is where I would roughly like it to be. It's at plus 130 right now, but we'll see as the week progresses where that fight ends up. Next up, rematch between some heavyweight legends and Andrei Arlovski versus Ben Rothwell. So these guys fought, let's see, over 11 years ago. Almost 11 years to the date. God damn, that is fucking weird. Yeah, so 11 days and 1 day ago, Ben Rothwell versus Andrei Arlovski happened at Affliction 1. Andrei Arlovski ended up winning that fight, also beat Roy Nelson, and then came back for Affliction 2 for a big opportunity to dethrone Fedor Emelianenko. If you guys remember, he had some success in that fight, and then, I don't know what the fuck happened, threw some sort of flying thing, and then Fedor managed to land a perfect punch on him, and Andrei Arlovski went toppling down. With Andrei Arlovski, we're talking about a guy that's had many career resurgences. He made his second UFC debut, or his return, I should say, against Brendan Shaw back in June of 2014. Strung together 4 straight wins over Shaw, Bigfoot Silva, Travis Brown, and Frank Mir, and then found himself pretty much in a number 1 contender fight against Stipe Miocic, and then he just got completely dusted in 54 seconds, and that was the first of 5 straight losses. The fact that the UFC still kept him after that was ridiculous, but, warranted. The guy's a legend. He still brings eyeballs. If you guys are doing the yawning drinking game, y'all are getting fucked up. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, 5 straight losses. Stipe Miocic, Alistair Overeem, Josh Barnett, Francis Ngannou, and then Marcin Tybura. He was able to come back and get a victory over Junior Albino, which I truly think would have been the last straw for them if he actually lost that fight. And then he beat Stefan Struve to string together 2 wins. And since then, he has technically lost 4 straight fights. The Walt Harris fight turned into a no contest due to Walt Harris popping for some sort of steroid of some sort, but he's lost to Tai Tuivasa, Shamil Abdurrahimov, Walt Harris, and Augusto Sakai. All 4 of those fights went to a decision. And if you want to stretch it back even further, last 7 of his fights have gone to a decision against heavy hitters like Marcin Tybura, Junior Albini, Tai Tuivasa, Shamil Abdurakhimov, who's even knocked out people in his time, Walt Harris, and even Augusto Sakai. So I think the narrative of his chin being shot is a little bit foregone now. Like I don't think you really have to worry about that. But if somebody's going to test his chin, I think Ben Rothwell has the punching power to possibly find that chink in Andrei Arlovski's chin, which has been so elusive as of late. Unfortunately, loss for Ben Rothwell last time around when he fought Blagoy-Ivanov. I had Ben Rothwell in that fight as an underdog, and I truly thought he won that fight. A lot of people thought he won that fight. Not sure which judges were, or all 3 judges were even seeing that for Blagoy-Ivanov, but unfortunately lost there. But it showed that Ben Rothwell can still really compete. He's still really, he can still get into shape and win some of these fights. And I think in a fight against another aging veteran like Andrei Arlovski is a perfect barometer for us to see if Ben Rothwell can continue to, possibly look for another, maybe even title contender fight. We know what kind of dinosaur division the heavyweight division is right now, so Ben Rothwell with maybe 2 or 3 straight wins could find himself in a number 1 contender fight. And I think that this, again, like I said, this is the perfect barometer for us to see if he can achieve that. The one issue I had with Ben Rothwell, though, in that first round was against Blagoy-Ivanov. He was very hesitant. I think he was just getting his feet wet. I was just trying to see like if he still has it. And then I think in the second and third rounds are the ones that he actually won. But when he turns it on, he really fucking turns it on. And I think if he has those moments against Andrei Arlovski, he could find that chink in Arlovski's chin and probably crack it. But again, his inconsistency at times are scary. They're worrisome. I don't feel comfortable betting him at the favorite price that he's currently at. What's he at right now? Minus 185. I don't feel comfortable playing him at that range. I don't feel comfortable playing Arlovski at plus 160 either. I want to see what the fight doesn't go to decision is, because I know they just released that as well. Minus 140. So I would consider taking a shot at the fight doesn't go to decision if it goes to an underdog. At an underdog range, but I think it's going to stay roughly at a favorite. Some people still think that Arlovski's chin could be cracked. I think it's a possibility. I just don't know if it's a foregone conclusion either. But I will take Ben Rothwell here by decision. No, you know what? I'm going to take Ben Rothwell by second round KO. But I just don't feel comfortable betting it either. So I'm going to take Rothwell by KO. Tough fight to call, man. Very, very tough fight to call. But you have to lean Rothwell, in my opinion. With the odds being as wide as they are, not feeling comfortable playing him, but you still have to lean Ben Rothwell here. Next up, we got Francisco Trinaldo versus Alexander Hernandez. Trinaldo's coming off a big victory over Evan Dunham back in September. He needed him to deliver, completely shut down Evan Dunham's system, and he went down. It was kind of like a walk-off KO as well. Trinaldo's been scheduled to fight a couple times. He's supposed to fight Islam Makhachev back in January. Then he's supposed to fight Alexander Hernandez. And then in May, he was supposed to fight Diego Ferreira. And then he had to pull out of that as well. And now here he is again against Alexander Hernandez. You know what type of fighter we're getting with Trinaldo. He's a heavy puncher. He throws a lot of winging shots. Good Muay Thai. Strong fighter. He's a lot older too. So that's one thing we need to remember. But he's always showing up for some of these fights. Getting victories over Jim Miller and Evan Dunham. Or especially the way he did it as well. He is a motherfucker for sure. And even in 2016, he had a victory over Paul Felder. His only losses have been Kevin Lee and James Vick. But I think he produces some possible problems here for Alexander Hernandez. I think it's going to be tough for Hernandez to get this fight to the ground, and I think he's going to have to eat a lot of big shots coming in against Francisco Trinaldo. I like the prospect of Hernandez still. I think he still has a lot to win here and totally prove, but I don't feel comfortable betting at minus 167, which is where he's currently sitting at. I need closer to like minus 120, minus 130. I know I told a couple people earlier this week, or earlier last week, or later last week, that I was, considering making Alexander Hernandez the lock of the night play. But after watching some tape, I got to back off of it a little bit. Trinaldo, even being as old as he is, definitely has he has a KO threat. He could definitely still pose some problems for Hernandez. But I'm still picking Hernandez to win here. I think he's going to win by decision, but I think it's going to be a tougher fight than most people are actually thinking it's going to be for Hernandez. I do see Hernandez, kind of using his movement to his advantage, being able to change up his game, MMA and striking and his grappling. But I think he's going to be the quicker guy here, so I think he'll stay out of any danger in terms of Trinaldo's big bombs. But I just can't trust him, especially coming off a devastating loss to Donald Cerrone. We got to also figure out how he deals with losses. He did have a loss to Jamal Emmers early in his career, and then he strung together all these victories. But, earlier in your career, I kind of write those first 3 to 4 or 5 fights off. But then after that, he had a big opportunity against Donald Cerrone here, and he blew it. So it's going to be interesting to see how he comes back and if he's able to get his mental game back to pull off a victory here. So I'm going to take him by decision, but I don't feel confident in enough to actually bet him here. Next up, we got James Vick versus Dan Hooker. This is a fight where two guys are coming back from pretty unfortunate losses, devastating losses as well. James Vick got knocked out by Justin Gaethje. Thought he was going to be able to come back and get back onto his winning track and his winning ways like he used to be. And then he ran into Paul Felder, who had like the perfect striking game plan to actually capture the victory here. I think that Daniel Hooker is probably if the same level, if not a notch below Paul Felder in terms of striking technique. I think he poses a lot of good kicks. I think he will be able to find James Vick's chin, but that damage that he took in that Edson Barboza fight is next level. It makes me hesitant. I think he took off a decent amount of time, roughly around 8 months, 7 or 8 months. But it's tough for me to trust a guy who came back from such a brutal beating. The one guy that really comes to mind for me is Brian Barberena. All the credit to Randy Brown in that fight, but I feel like Brian Barberena just did not come back, just did not look the same coming back from that Vicente Luque award that he had early in the year. So that's what's kind of putting me off from Daniel Hooker here. What's the odds currently at? Hooker's minus 140-ish favorite, James Vick plus 120. Maybe a dog shot on James Vick. I'm not really considering it at the moment. I just don't like his defense. He is a tall guy. He's a big guy, but Daniel Hooker is a big guy too. And I think that range is going to be easy for him to find James Vick's chin. He just has tall man defense. He just fucking keeps his head and his chin high up in the air. I'm not sure if he's really worked on it for this camp, but it's hard for me to see him correcting a mistake like that. Such a consistent and natural mistake it seems like he makes with keeping his chin up and just being a tall fighter. It's good that he's a tall fighter, but when you're fighting really good strikers, especially a guy like Daniel Hooker, you got to tuck that chin. You got to make sure that they can't find it that easy and just all those X factors and James Vick's poor striking defense, it's kind of making this fight a pass for me. I might even look at the possible fight doesn't go to decision. Let's see what those are sitting at. If that's plus money, I would possibly consider that. Minus 135. So it seems like it's getting better. It opened at minus 120, got to minus 150, and now it's minus 135. If that hit plus money, I would consider possibly making a small play on that. Even if it hit even money, I would possibly consider that as well. But it's tough for me to see being comfortable betting on either guy to win this fight, which is why I'd only consider the fight doesn't go decision. But in terms of forcing myself to take a pick, I'm going to take James Vick, man. I'm going to side on the side that the damage that Daniel Hooker took in that Edson Barboza fight was too much for him, and he hasn't fully recovered from it. And I think that Vick has the power to make it hard for Hooker, and it might come for a relatively quick finish for James Vick as well. One thing I think that Daniel Hooker really needs to implement in this fight to probably secure victory better is use those leg kicks, man. He tried using those against Edson Barboza, but I think here against James Vick, he's going to have a lot of success against a guy who's so tall, and especially his calf kicks, I think it's going to be a lot easier for Daniel Hooker. So if he starts throwing leg kicks, I think he has a good chance of winning this fight, but I'm going to take James Vick just for, putting a gun to my head. I think that he finishes Daniel Hooker here, maybe even by dart stroke if they get into a clinch situation and even a wrestling situation. I think that James Vick loves that darks, that anaconda choke, and I think he's going to be able to land it here on Daniel Hooker. But I'm going to take KO second round for James Vick. Next up, there we go. Greg Hardy against Juan Adams. I tweeted out earlier this week, if you bet on this motherfucking fight, you are even more of a degen than I am for fucking betting on Alvaro Herrera and Devin Powell, I think last year or the year before that. Who knows what the fuck is going to happen in this fight? You know, we know the one thing that is guaranteed is somebody's going to get knocked out, which is why the fight doesn't go to decision odds are -475. And somebody, and it's going to be very sloppy. It's going to be a very sloppy slugfest between two guys that just want to put each other out. You know, it's -110 right now. It's an even money fight. Both guys are sloppy. And Juan Adams, I believe, is going to be the slightly bigger guy, but Greg Hardy is a big guy in his own frame. But their technique is just so fucking sloppy. When the going gets rough, I think Greg Hardy is going to be the one that's more gassed. I would have to give Juan Adams the slightly better gas tank advantage, but I don't think he's going to need it for longer than a round and a half. I think that Greg Hardy, I think they're just both going to swing, man. I think if anybody's going to be technical, it's Juan Adams, and by technical, I just mean slightly more disciplined and not just throwing ill-advised haymakers. But I think that, you know, if Greg Hardy can't get him out of there in the first 2.5 minutes, it's going to be really tough for him. I don't know, man. It's going to be a tough test, and it's more of a coin flip, man. If you're going to bet anything, I would bet either the under or the fight doesn't go to decision, but those are probably juiced the fuck out. I'm going to see what the under fucking 1.5 is, you know? If it's like -1.5 and, if it's under 1.5 and we're seeing at like -220, -250, I might make it a lock of the night play. Fuck it. I will take the chance in thinking that Juan Adams won't try to grind out Greg Hardy and get this late into the later rounds, but I think that even if Juan Adams gets this fight to the ground, he's going to be too big for Greg Hardy to get off of him, and he could probably get a TKO there, maybe even some sort of submission, but I don't see that. I see it's being a slugfest. I'm going to take Greg Hardy by first round KO. I think he's going to be quicker than Juan Adams here. I think he's going to be able to land the big shot, put Juan Adams out, and TKO him. Maybe lock of the night play the under 1.5 whenever the fuck that comes out. But fight doesn't go to decision on -475. Way too juicy for me. You know, Francis Ngannou and Derek Lewis flashback slightly, which is why I would feel much more comfortable with the under 1.5 whenever those odds are fucking released. But I will take Greg Hardy by first round submission, just being the more athletic and quicker guy here. Next up, co-main event time. Alexei Oleinik versus Walt Harris. We know what the fuck this fight is all about. So these guys were actually supposed to fight each other in May, and I believe that fight got moved due to Oleinik being hurt, and Walt Harris ended up fighting Sergey Spivak that night and got a quick victory in 50 seconds, and then wanted that quick turnaround 2.5 months later against Alexei Oleinik to get that fight. Very simple. What the fuck is going to happen with this fight? You know, Alexei Oleinik's going to try to get this fight to the ground ASAP. Walt Harris is going to try to keep this fight on the feet and try to pummel out Alexei Oleinik. It's actually hilarious that the fight doesn't go to decision on this fight. Has worse odds than on the Juan Adams and Greg Hardy fight. It's currently sitting at -600. And for a correct reason. I think that if Oleinik gets this fight to the ground, he's going to find a submission very easily. And I think if Walt Harris keeps this fight on the feet, I think he's going to be able to actually finish Alexei Oleinik, completely pound him out, and get the victory. It's tough to trust Walt Harris, though, man. I think he is the favorite, and rightfully so. What is it, -155? He's just so hard to trust, though. He still seems green, even though he's fucking 19 fights into his career. He just seems like he's just not comfortable when he gets into clinch situations. And I think a guy like Alexei Oleinik, I think Oleinik is going to have a harder time getting Walt Harris down than he did Mark Hunt. I believe strictly due to Walt Harris's athleticism, it's going to be harder. But I think that if it gets close to the cage, I think Oleinik will find a way to drag this to the cage because he is a big guy. He is a strong guy. He is a big guy. And he is a fucking, 60, 70 fight veteran of the game. He's going to find a way to get this fight to the ground. I might look at a Oleinik inside the distance Maybe if that's like plus 200-ish, I might fucking take a stab on that. Or even Alexei Oleinik by sub. If that's plus 200, I might take a stab on that. Even against Mark Hunt, Oleinik by sub was plus 200, and I took a 0.5 shot unit on that. And I think I would take the same exact shot here. Harris is just tough to trust. I don't trust him. I'm going to take Oleinik by sub. And I would probably bet the submission. I wouldn't bet Oleinik straight. I believe the only way he wins this fight is by submission. I don't see him grinding out Walt Harris. I don't think he's going to have the cardio advantage here. I think Walt Harris will have the cardio advantage. So it's either Alexei Oleinik by sub or Walt Harris by finish or even decision if he wants to be very fucking, you know what, I don't even think decision. I think Oleinik's just going to be too out of it by the third round, that even if it makes it to a third round, Walt Harris will clip him, catch him, and ground and pound him out. But I'm going to make my pick Oleinik by sub. All right, main event time, RDA versus Leon Edwards. So this is a fight that I already have a bet on. I tweeted it out. A lot of people fucking liked it. Give me RDA at plus money every fucking day against anybody other than Colby Covington and Kamaru Usman. So I hit him I hit 2 units at plus 116. The best price you can get on him is plus 109 at Bet Online, plus 108 at Pinnacle, plus 100 at William Hill, plus 100 at 5 times. So the line is definitely closing a bit. I don't know if, I highly doubt I had anything to do with it. I'm just being honest. But I think that a lot of people are seeing value on Dos Anjos here at underdog odds, and I completely agree with them. RDA is coming off a big victory over Kevin Lee in his last fight. That's the third straight very credentialed wrestler that he went up against. But the difference between Kevin Lee and Usman and Covington is that Usman and Covington have way better cardio than Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee clearly blew his wad. He was fighting like a bat out of hell in those first couple rounds, thinking that he was going to be able to finish Dos Anjos. Dos Anjos was right there with him every fucking minute. Even in, I think it was the third round or the fourth round, he came out with like a flying knee or something crazy just to show Kevin Lee, I'm here, motherfucker. I got the gas to go all 5 rounds. And I think that is definitely going to be an advantage here for him against Leon Edwards. It was very concerning for Leon Edwards to give up full mount with 1 minute left against Gunnar Nelson. I know Gunnar Nelson has a knack for getting those submission or those positions, but I think RDA has a better takedown game than Gunnar Nelson. I think RDA mixes up the MMA game way better than anybody that Leon Edwards has fought as of late. That win over Cowboy Cerrone is one thing, but Cerrone hasn't been really known to be the best wrestler out there, and that's probably the most impressive win he's had when he ran into Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman's a fucking freight train. It's tough to beat a guy like that. And I think he's going to have some trouble here against RDA. I think the most success Edwards is going to have is probably in the first 2 rounds with his striking. And I don't think that he's going to have the biggest strength advantage. I think he's going to be the bigger guy, don't get me wrong. But I don't think he's going to have a huge strength advantage over Rafael Dos Anjos here. I think Dos Anjos, one thing is concerning with him is sometimes it seems like he's giving up his back to the cage a little bit too much. But you can't really downplay the work that he's doing there, because he is still landing very good knees to the body of his opponents when his back is against the cage, especially against Robbie Lawler. But I truly think that he's going to be the most well-rounded striker and most well-rounded fighter that Leon Edwards has ever fought. And the fact that it's 5 rounds, I think it really, really, really favors Dos Anjos here. I think Dos Anjos has the pace and the cardio to go all 5 rounds, make it tough in those 3, 4, and 5 rounds. And I think that's where he pulls off this decision victory. I think that Edwards makes it competitive for the first 2 rounds with his striking. Keeps Dos Anjos at a decent range. But I think that Dos Anjos, with his game planning, he is very good on the feet, and then very good with mixing his takedowns into his striking, and vice versa. That I think that's going to eventually give Leon Edwards problems. And I think that Edwards is going to have a lot of trouble getting up off of a Dos Anjos takedowns later in those fights, later in those rounds. So I very much favor Dos Anjos here. It sucks because I really like Leon Edwards, man. I think he brings a lot to the table with his striking. It's kind of unfortunate he's had to run into Rafael Dos Anjos here, but I truly believe that Dos Anjos is like the top 3 gatekeeper, top 4 gatekeeper. If you don't have that pressure wrestling style of a Kamaru Usman and that pace and and cardio of a Colby Covington, you're not going to beat Rafael dos Anjos, man. It's as simple as that. Kevin Lee had the wrestling. I think his wrestling is definitely up there with Colby Covington and Kamaru Usman, but he just can't keep up the pace, and dos Anjos can keep up that pace. He can keep up the consistency, and even in that fight against Robbie Lawler, he pretty much, it seemed like he emptied the gas tank in that second round with going on that flurry, but he was still able to go the full 5 rounds. I know it was a diminished Robbie Lawler, but I think that he will have just as much success against Leon Edwards here in the later rounds, and I think he wins this fight, man. I truly think he wins by decision. Yeah, I fucking love Dos Anjos in this range. I don't know if you're going to get plus 110, plus 115 again on him. I think people are, getting hip to the whole Dos Anjos thing. He's minus 102 on Bookmaker now, which is fucking nuts. Let's see what these things even opened at. So 5 times is normally one of the first ones. So he opened at minus 135, and there's been a lot of movement where he's been going from favorite to dog, but he's pretty much been a dog since July 20th. Nope. Since July 2nd, I should say, sorry. So he's holding true at that pick-a-mish line, plus 100 line. Wait it out for the week. If you want to hop on this Dos Anjos train and tail my play, I would say wait it out a little bit longer. But I do definitely see a lot of people that are very interested in Leon Edwards too. So there's definitely going to be some plays there. And there might be some sharps who want to hit him a little bit later in the week. So just keep your eye on the RDA line. I think you could probably get a good line on him a little bit later in the week. But I hit him at 2 units at plus 116. Very happy to do so. Very happy to see him at those odds. And it was almost a no-brainer for me to pick him. Dos Anjos, decision. Have to do it. And that's going to be my official pick. So that's UFC San Antonio. I feel like I fucking killed it for you guys here. I had my man Joseph fucking call me out on the last podcast, not being prepared for those first couple fights. And, I like the fact that you guys are keeping me honest. I do my best to stay on top of this tape as much as possible. I try to have it ready to go for Monday so I can record this podcast fully prepared. Even though I have the rest of the week to dust up on a couple of things and see where the line movement goes. I want to get ahead of schedule, man. I love the schedule that my man Newsom's on. He's a couple of cards ahead already. It's great to be on that schedule. So I've been killing it with the studying for the last couple of days. Even for this week too, I'm going to be trying to get ahead and trying to get all the way up to the next card, I believe, which is UFC 240, headlined by Edgar and Holloway. And it's good that the odds makers are getting the odds out really early too. So, I kind of prefer to make my own assumption first and make my own betting lines, then compare them to what I see what the odds makers release. But if they're already out there, I'm already going to fucking see them. So I kind of know right away which fights I don't want to waste my time on too much, and then the fights that I need to just look on a little bit, just enough to be able to give you guys a proper prediction and a proper pick, which is what I did with a couple of the fights earlier in this card. But hopefully you guys listen to the whole podcast and you guys can see which fights that I'm actually considering as a possible lock of the night play, and then which odds that aren't out yet that I'm looking forward to seeing and will probably hit at certain prices. So listen to the whole thing. I don't know if you guys are really using the timestamps to get to the fights that you want to hear about, but listen to the whole podcast. I feel like I have plenty of valuable content to offer to you guys throughout the podcast. So yeah, like I said, that's UFC San Antonio. One bet placed already. This is going to be possibly my 3rd straight winning event as well. So if I win this event, my next event, which is going to be probably UFC 240, will be my first paid event. I'm going to be going back to paid events if I get the W this weekend. If I don't get the W, then you guys will get another 3 straight weeks of free picks. So make sure you guys tell me on this card. On Twitter at MMALOTN as always. The website is www.mmalotn.ca. Make sure you guys check that out for all my latest plays. I will be back next week for UFC 240 to do the Lock-Cast for you guys, as well as next week we're going to be doing the next Combattosaurs episode as well. We're supposed to do it this week. Unfortunately, we won't be able to because my man Big Rob's going to be out camping. I'm going to go join him like I told you guys at the beginning of the episode. I'm going to be going up on Friday, stay the night there, and probably come back on Saturday. Hopefully in time to catch the fights live. Otherwise, I'll just watch them a little bit delayed. But yeah, next Monday, I'll be back for Lock-Cast. And then Wednesday of next week, I'll be doing the next Combattosaurs. So I'll be back with Tony to do that for you guys. I believe that is it. Rate, comment, subscribe. wherever fucking platform you're listening to, YouTube, whatever it is. YouTube is probably the best. So if you guys are listening to this audio, I feel sorry for you guys, but YouTube, watch my beautiful face. It's always available for you guys. Yeah, that's about it. I'm out. Peace. Good luck this weekend. We out.